Hello travelers, Boardman21 here, and today's build is the Poison Ballista Shuriken Bladedancer. And we're going to be stacking so much poison, it's going to do close to the most damage I've ever seen, other than back in the days of Beastmaster before it got nerfed, and we could do 25 million plus. But on this build, we'll be doing 11 million plus damage. You're going to liquidate all of the bosses in just seconds, and it's a fun way to finally use your ballistas and watch them just annihilate things. So most of the damage will come from shurikens and from decoy, but the ballistas are definitely going to take a bunch of your ailment chance and throw it up over the top and just absolutely let things annihilate. It's a really easy play style. When you're doing echo runs, all you do is shift along, which will automatically throw Flask down, and you'll have shurikens spinning around you, which basically kill anything they touch instantly. And then when you get to bosses or your rares with a lot of health, you just throw down a couple of ballistas, your decoy. The decoy will explode, it throws acid everywhere. The acid hits your ballistas, it gives ballista extra poison chance, and it gets ridiculous. So let's go ahead and get into the skills. First skills, we're running decoy, shift, acid flask, shurikens, and ballista. For decoy, we have this set up to throw out the most decoys that you can throw at one time, and then when they explode, they drop acid flask. So what's good about that is when they drop acid flask, that's kind of your burst damage, because acid flask itself has a bunch of buffs for poison shred, for giving you 100% more poison chance, and if you hit your ballistas with it, they get 100% more poison chance. So you set up your ballistas, you throw your decoys, you start stacking the poison stacks with your shurikens, and then once the decoy explodes and hits everything, including the enemy, with a bunch of poison shred and poison damage, because it also hits, so it has its own poison chance, you just end up getting your final amount of stacks, which lets you get that big boost damage, and you're going to hit the most poison damage within 2 to 3 seconds after the decoys explode. So we have this set up with 1 point in boom, 2 points in short fuse, 2 points in burning oil, 2 points in meticulous construction, and all of that to unlock the grand diversion so that you throw extra decoys. 2 points here lets you throw 3 total. We have 1 point in efficient construction for some mana efficiency, 1 point in embedded spikes, 1 point in lasting presence, 2 points in into the shadows, 1 point in on fire so that it ignites all nearby enemies, 4 points in Keflin oil so that ignite frequency is 100% faster, and then all of that's converted to poison, with 1 point in acid flumes, and this also replaces the explosions, including the final explosion, by acid flask, to where you'll now throw 3 acid flasks when they explode at the end. And with 3 decoys, that means there are 9 acid flasks that are going to go flying on the ground, and they're just going to hit everything, give you a huge area of poison damage and poison boost. We have shift. With shift, we're using it to drop an acid flask on takeoff and at arrival. We also create a shadow, get some haste out of it, and get some good dodge for 1 second after its use. We have 3 points in velocity, 3 points in momentum, 1 point in lasting presence, 3 points in swift recovery, 1 point in shadow slip, 5 points in elusive, and 2 points in parting gift, and 2 points in arrival gift, so that you throw that acid flask on arrival and at departure. And then for acid flask is set up to have increased poison duration, poison chance, give you poison chance, have poison pools. You get all sorts of crazy poison down in the bottom left. So we have 3 points in caustic concoction to give you 45% more poison chance with acid flask, 2 points in lasting sickness, so that has 20% longer poison duration for poisons that are put on the enemy by acid flask, 4 points in contamination, so that each hit from an acid flask shreds the poison resistance of enemies by 600%, which is huge. That's 6 stacks of poison resistance, which on bosses will be 2% each, so that's 12% less poison resist they'll have per hit of acid flask. It caps out at 20% against bosses. It's either 20% or 40%, but either way, you're going to get to that cap on the first time that a decoy explodes. And then 1 point in poison pool, so that you now have a poison pool for 4 seconds. With 5 points in hydrochloric acid, when you're inside the poison pool, you'll have 100% increased poison chance. 3 points in lingering toxicity, so the poison pools will last 3 seconds longer, and 2 points in amatoxin pools, so that there's a 50% chance each second for the poison pulse to affect enemies inside with an extra toxin, making them take 10% more multiplicative poison damage. Now, you don't really need the extra duration. You could definitely take these 2 points out and put the 2 points into lasting sickness for the maximum poison duration that you can get from Acid Flask, and that'll let you stack some more stacks of poison. And remember, you get that 5% bonus poison damage per stack on the enemy, and that's what really makes the damage just go completely out of control with this build, or with any poison build, really. For Shurikens, we have this set up so that they're free to cast. You have maximum projectiles. They spin around you so that they can hit all the enemies at one time. They can hit the same enemy, and then with 100% pierce chance, it lets them all go through the enemy and come back around. Now, the pierce chance is really only for echoes, so that when you're running through echoes, you don't have to continuously keep casting it. You just cast it once, they spin around you, you can run for 3 to 4 seconds, and everything that they touch is just going to die, and then you cast it again. Against the dummy or other things, you're recasting it so fast against bosses that you don't need the pierce chance, because they're all going to disappear before you even have a chance to hit the enemy with all 9 of them. But here we have 4 points in Alacrity for the attack speed, 2 points in Abrasive Arsenal for more poison shred chance, 1 point in Thin Shurikens for 2 additional Shurikens, 1 point in Blade Shield so that they now are cast around you, last 3 seconds, and spin in a circle, 3 points in Silatiliant Steel for a -3 mana cost, 1 point in Aerodynamic for 17% more speed and range. I don't know if this actually makes them spin faster around you, or if they're farther orbiting out from you. I didn't notice either of those things when I put a point into this, so this might be completely useless. Feel free to change that. You can definitely put it in to Abrasive Arsenal or anywhere else. Maybe you want a little more hit damage. You're going to have plenty of ailments, so you'll hit that maximum 30% with just 1 point. We have 4 points in Ethereal Blades for that 100% pierce chance, 3 points in Toxic Tips for 30% poison chance, and 1 point in Phantom Blades for 2 more additional Shurikens. So you get 3 base, 2 more here, 2 more here for 7 total, and then 2 on the unique gloves that we're wearing. And then for Ballista, the reason we went with Ballista is Ballista gets a portion of your ailment chance. So on this build, and with Blade Master in general, when you're wearing dual daggers, especially the Chitin daggers that give you more poison chance implicit and then more poison chance on hit with the actual fix, along with increased poison chance per equipped dagger on multiple sources, you can get 1000% poison chance pretty easily. Like, once you have the affix on everything you need on, 1000% poison chance is pretty easy. And the nice thing about the Ballista is it can get 45% of your ailment effectiveness, which means that it will apply your ailments on its hit. So if you think about that, that means that you have 1000% poison chance. That means each Ballista has 450% poison chance. There's also, when you hit it with a flask, they get an additional 100%. So they have 600 or 550% poison chance, which means they're applying 5 to 6 stacks of poison per hit per Ballista, and you can have 3 of them really easily. So once we figured that out, we're just like, we don't care about their damage. We want them to have maximum attack speed. So everything here is for their ailment, their attack speed, and to have 3 of them. So we have 2 points in Rapid Fire for 12% more attack speed, 4 points in Sturdy Foundation for the increased duration. They last 40% longer, 2 points in Acidulous Mixture for 30% slow chance, 1 point in Tainted Ammunition, so that when they are hit by an Acid Flask, they get 100% more poison chance, and this is why the decoys are so effective. And so you set up your ballistas, and once you set your ballistas up, they get this attack speed per hit with 1 point quick load. So for each hit they do, they gain 2% more attack speed. So you set the ballistas up, you get them attacking, you throw the decoys out, your ballistas are continuously getting more and more attack speed, and then when the decoys explode, they hit them with the flask, and they get that final burst of damage. 5-10 hits, they have all that increased attack speed, they're doing maximum hits, they have that increased poison chance at the very end, and it lets you just have that really high-end burst damage towards the end of their lifespan. We have 1 point in Expeditious Build, so that when you are near your ballistas, they gain Frenzy for 20% more attack speed. The 3 points in contaminating shots for the 45% effectiveness, 1 point in efficient construction. This reduces their duration, but you gotta put a point here in order to unlock the things you need, as in the 1 point in practical build, which gives them 40% more multiplicative attack speed, which is huge. Now these two things reduce the duration by 45%, but you get 40% of that back with the 4 points in sturdy foundation, so you end up with about a 9 to 9.5 second duration on them, which is long enough for you to do everything you need to do in a cycle. And then 4 points in light bolts for 48% more attack speed, so they attack really fast, and by the time that their 9-second duration is up, they have another 20 to 30% attack speed thanks to quick load, and they are hitting really quick. You're almost getting off 2 shots a second from 3 of them, which is allowing you to stack even more poison, really push the build to the end. For passives, we have 45 points in the base row class. Yes, that's a lot of points, but we needed them all where they're at. We have 8 points in Swift Assassin for more attack speed. That includes throwing speed, 1 point in Goyle, 5 points in Evasion because you'll always basically be moving, except against bosses when you're standing there just killing them before they know what to do. 5 points in Agility for haste on hit chance. This also gives you increased damage per 1% movement speed that you have. 1 point in Twin Blade so that you can dual wield. This will allow you to wear 2 daggers. 5 points in Dodge and Parry. 7 points in Duelist. 5 points in Sapping Strike. Since Shurikens cost 0, you're going to get all of your mana back using the Shurikens, which is going to replace the cost of your Decoy and your Ballistas really quickly. And then 8 points in Poison Tipped so that you have 80% more poison chance with a dagger. We have 67 points in Blade Master, our master class. 8 points in Cloak of Shadows, 4 points in Once, 10 points in Blood Serpent's Blades, 1 point in Sky Synthesis, 1 point in Flow, 8 points in Pursuit, 5 points in Rhythm, 1 point in Scarlet Stream, 3 points in Crimson Shroud, 5 points in Blood Dance, 4 points in Flash of Steel, 10 points in Weapons of Choice, 6 points in Asuvant's Pact, and 1 point in Shadow Master for that extra shadow, which you really don't need. We were originally running this with different skills using shadows to apply things, so this point's not needed. You can definitely get into the perfection stacks. The other things you don't really need, you don't need Once. You can remove these 4 points and put that into perfection stacks. You don't really need the Sky Synthesis either. This is another wasted points. The Flow is nice. This gives you increased throwing attack speed, as you'll be using many of your different skills and constantly kind of getting that flow going. So you'll have that increased attack speed. You'll probably easily get 3 to 4 of these buffs, so you'll have 15-20% increased throwing attack speed before you just sit there and use Shurikens. But some of these points, like I said, are definitely move aroundable, but for the most part, the 2 most important things that you want is the 10 points in Blood Serpent's Blades for that poison chance per dagger, and 10 points in Weapons of Choice for that 150% poison chance with 2 daggers. Those 2 things together give you 250% poison chance. So those are the most important things in the skill tree. Outside of that, you can basically do anything that you want. For items and idols, the idols you want is poison chance per equipped dagger. You can get up to 35% per equipped dagger, so there's definitely room to improve with some of these idols that we have here. We're also wearing 2 uniques. We have on Laraka's Claws. This gives Shurikens extra projectiles and gives all throwing hits extra poison chance. So your Flask and your Shurikens are going to have extra poison chance. You can get up to 130% with these gloves. We also have the Viper Tail, which has poison chance on hit. It also has some slow on hit and dodge rating things that'll help you when you need survivability and you hit things they can't catch up to you, and dodge rating so you can dodge their attacks. For our weapons, we have 2 Shitten Daggers for poison damage, damage over time, poison on hit, and on the main hand we have Shred Armor on hit. On the offhand we have Frailty on melee hit. Doesn't really help you in this build, but that's what we have. For the chest piece, we have Dex, Vite, increased damage while wielding a dagger, and +1 maximum Ballista for that attack speed with Ballistas as well. And for the helm, we have set necrotic Dex, poison chance per equipped dagger, and poison duration. The poison duration is the most important. The poison chance per equipped dagger is second important, and then after that, it doesn't really matter what you have. For the chest, you don't need the extra ballista, but it does help if you're really trying to get the maximum amount of damage out of this. The increased damage while wielding a dagger isn't a huge thing, but also really helps. So the suffixes are the most important thing for both the chest and the helm. The prefixes, the set necrotic and dex are the last things that you need. You don't really need to worry about the dex and fight on the chest so much, so try and get the suffixes first and then worry about the prefixes. For the amulet, we're wearing the Jade amulet for the throwing attack speed. We also have poison penetration, poison damage, which is really going to increase the damage you do. If you're having survivability problems, throw the bleeding heart on. It's going to leech any damage that you do, including damage over time, so the bleeding heart will keep you alive. You can just keep shifting. The flask will throw the damage they do. You'll start leeching. It'll keep you at full life no matter what you're being attacked against. We have 2 silver rings with increased throwing attack speed and throwing attack mana cost. The throwing attack mana cost is the most important. You need that on both rings. It only has to be tier 1 to get the -3 attack mana cost. And the reason you need that on both rings is that's what's going to make Shurikens free. If Shurikens is not free, if you do not have those, it's not going to be your mana generator, which means you're going to have mana issues trying to always cast Ballista and Decoy out there. We have the Heoborian boots, which come with set Fizz, set necrotic, elemental resist, and movement speed, and the Stained Tome with set necrotic, dex, health, and elemental resist. For our character sheet, we do not have all capped resistances. We're basically only capped in poison and elemental. We have 12% armor, so we're not very tanky. 50% dodge, so we can dodge quite a few hits. We're sitting at 500% poison damage, and we have almost 1,000% poison chance. And again, you can break 1,000% if you get close to perfect rolls on everything. Maybe you have some exalted items with poison chance on hit. With that, it's definitely going to put you over that 1,000% poison chance. And then for how you play it and skill rotation, so it takes perfect timing and you have to be perfectly positioned to get the maximum amount of damage out of it. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to find your sweet spot. So you can test this by just casting the Shurikens. What I found is being almost directly underneath it with your mouse up a little bit to the northeast of it is about the perfect spot. This is where I find it best. You should be able to get 3 to 4 million damage without using anything else, with just using these. And as you can see here, I'm not getting that high. I need to get a better position. And once you find the perfect spot where you're getting that massive amount of damage, so here we go, we're at 2 million right now, 2.3. So this is a really good spot right here. We got 2.3 million. We're in a spot where those Shurikens are spawning right about where they need to where we're sitting at 2 to 3 million damage. And then what you're going to do is, once you're in this spot, you got your mouse where you want to cast your Ballistas, and then you want to cast your Decoy, and unfortunately the Ballistas don't auto-attack the training dummy, so you're actually going to have to push A, make them attack the training dummy, then cast your Decoy, and then go back to spamming Shurikens, and you're going to see that you max out your damage. So we'll throw out the Ballistas, we'll throw out the Decoy, and then we'll just go nuts here. Once the Decoy explodes, that Acid Flask gives everything extra damage. And I moved my mouse, that was a mistake. We got to like 4 million right there. One more sec, we'll give it one more shot here. You throw out your Ballistas, you throw out your Decoy, push A so they're attacking. Keep your mouse where it needs to go so you have that perfect spot. Try and get the maximum damage. We're at 4.5, 4.7. We almost got 5 million damage on that one, but it's all about finding that sweet spot. Of course, that doesn't matter when you're up against a boss. You're going to melt everything so fast that just doing 5 million damage is overpowered. But when you find that perfect spot, you can get to 10 million plus. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys some more gameplay.